A very warm welcome to StudyIQ, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 24th November 2020. I would like to start today's discussion with this quote by Winston Churchill. A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity, an optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. So the bottom line is, it's totally on us. It's totally on our perspective, how we see the world. With this, dear friends, if you are preparing for UPSC, then we have a dedicated smart course for civil services, and it will cover your prelims as well as mains examination. To find out more about it, all you have to do is visit Google Play Store, search for StudyIQ mobile app, download the app. Everything, right? All information pertaining to our smart course is available on our mobile application. On our table, we have 5 important articles. There are so many things to discuss, so let's quickly start. Good enough. This one is about coronavirus. Now, dear friends, our country is facing the third wave of COVID-19. In last few days or last 1 week, I would say we are facing this tsunami of new coronavirus cases. But this should not be a big surprise for us. The reason I'm saying that we were expecting this thing is because first thing is natural, second thing is man-made. Natural thing first, so if we analyze Spanish flu that took place around 100 years ago, 1918 to 1919. Spanish flu, what we can learn from this Spanish flu is that during winter time, right, you will see a sort of rise or surge in cases associated with this sort of flu, right? This viral flu, they go up naturally because of like our capacity to, we are already fighting this change in weather, and winter is, a season that is going to generate, many people, they are going to face cold, cough, fever and things like that. So this is something very natural, like winter is one of the reason. The second thing is man-made, and this is something that is a matter of concern because, things were under control, or they were looking like things are under our control as far as COVID-19 is concerned, right? Cases were dropping down and things like that. But then, people took this Diwali very lightly. They visited each other and they did all those things that we used to do earlier on. And because of this thing, 2 states, one is Delhi and Gujarat government, right? Both are in a state of panic. I live in Gujarat, so I know that in Rajkot, in Ahmedabad, in Surat and other cities like Baroda and other places, you find there are like 150, 200 cases on an average, on regular basis after Diwali. Numbers were dropping down, but now they have, they are resurrected, you can say. And there will be a surge in cases across the nation as well. Now, dear friends, the matter of concern here is not only this, COVID cases, but I'm also worried about our economy. Ahmedabad was under 57 hours curfew. It was like a mini lockdown. Even in, various different states. I'm not sure about other states, but I'm sure about Gujarat. I'm sure about my city, Rajkot. I know that after 9 p.m., if you just open your window and if you will hear a pin drop silence. It's like a lockdown after 9 p.m. So this is going to hurt our economy. On the other side, we have some good news, like Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine is, it has cleared its third trial, and the average efficacy is 70%, which is, of course, better than nothing. We have some other candidates, they are claiming 90% plus efficacy. So this is good, right? But we have to understand this thing as well, that let's say 90% efficacy means, roughly speaking, in layman's language, if you administer 100 people with this vaccine, then 10 may get COVID-19. So it's not going to be an end for COVID-19. It is going to stay with us for a bit of time. So the only thing that we need to do, the only possible solution in our hand, and it may take 1 year or more than that as well to cover the whole world. I think it will take 3 to 4 years, right? at least 3 years to cover each and every single person on this planet. Minimum 3 years, right? Minimum 3 years. It may take more than 3 years as well. I'm not sure, but I think, as far as I know, I've read so many articles on COVID-19, so I can say 3 years to cover each and every single person on this planet. So what is the only thing that can help us? Preparedness and preventable behavior. This is the key to survive. Maharashtra has made it mandatory that if you are coming from a state that is considered, or if you are coming from a place that is considered as a hotspot of COVID-19, then you have to go through RT-PCR test. This is for the first time we are finding something that, before COVID-19, I'll tell you how it works. Before COVID-19, pre-COVID-19 era, if you're traveling to countries like UK, Germany, or USA, Canada, etc., then if you're traveling from India to Canada or India to UK, for example, then they will test you for various different diseases, right? They will randomly check if you are having, not each and every one, but they will randomly check if you are suffering from tuberculosis or something like that, So this sort of things, mandatory checkups used to take place when you travel abroad. But this is something we will find in future when you travel from one state to another. Then, sad thing is that Supreme Court has to intervene. Supreme Court has to, push some states, because some states they were very lax. Government started taking things very lightly, and we also read these reports that there are few governments, there are few states, even today, they are playing this game of throwing numbers under the carpet. They are not they are not displaying the right numbers, because they think that that will create panic, and they don't know how much damage that they are doing. We have to think about doctors as well, right? We enjoy Diwali or any other festival. We don't look after ourselves, and then at the end of the day, we are creating more and more pressure on doctors. It's something similar with cleaners as well. Street cleaners or our local cleaners, right? They work so hard, but they can never win. The reason is because there are thousands of people who are throwing their litter here and there. They are throwing their, this trash here and there. They are throwing rubbish everywhere. And there are only few who are going to clean up our city or our streets. So the same formula applies here. That there are so many people, thousands of them, they don't care, right? They are not wearing a mask, or they are shaking hands and sitting close to each other. And there are very limited beds and very limited doctors and medical staff with us. So it is totally on us. If we are careful, then only government will be careful, or else it's going to go, this vicious cycle will keep on going. If you want to download the PDF of today's lecture, check out my Telegram channel. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Now, dear friends, India Gulf, very interesting article. Our Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar is going to visit Bahrain and UAE. So Bahrain is this country here, tiny nation here, tiny island nation in Persian Gulf is Bahrain. The capital is Manama. And of course, UAE, right? Abu Dhabi is the capital, and Dubai is very famous, of course, in our country. Now, one thing that I give credit, means I would like to give this credit to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, his understanding on foreign policy. This region was okay. It was not that close to us. Yes, we have, centuries-old relationship with this Gulf region or Gulf countries, 2000 plus year relation with Oman and other countries, trade relations and other things. Of course, religion is also one important thing, Mecca and Medina. Every year, lakhs of Muslims from our country, they travel to these holy places of Mecca and Medina. So the thing is, we have always, viewed this region, our perspective was very limited. Oil, that Gulf is a source of oil for us, number one. Number two, that it is a place where our labor, people from our country, like blue collar workers, they find jobs in this part of the world. Number two. And number three was always this thing that these countries are close to Pakistan and they play dirty games and they are supporting Wahhabism and terrorism and things like that. And there used to be things like that, right? It's not like they are all clean. Saudi Arabia is a country that is even today promoting Wahhabism. Okay? So, but things are changing. Things are, of course, changing. And if we see other countries, right, there are positive, negatives, but as far as India and Gulf region is concerned, we have good relationship with Israel, Jordan, Syria, Iraq, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, Oman, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Iran as well. We have good relationship. Trade relationship were a bit down, but things are improving and hopefully will improve, right? There was this news that Iran is going to buy basmati rice from us in huge quantity. So, of course, Modi's personal outreach to the Gulf rulers has helped crack open immense possibilities for political and strategic cooperation. Now, we have to understand this thing that, this nations, they were not that rich nation, right? A few decades ago, if you see them, then you will find that they were not that rich. But then oil discovery took place, and it's a blessing for them, of course. Now things have changed for them, and they enjoy a very luxurious life and things. You know how rich they are, right? These kingdoms of this Gulf region. So they have huge amount of money, and they know this thing that this oil money will not last forever. So they have to diversify. They have to invest this money somewhere. And if you see, there are so many banks and football teams. They are sponsoring so many things, right? They have diversified their portfolio. They are investing in agriculture, in education, in logistics, and in so many things. I can go on and on. So there are so many things that we need in our country. Our country is, thirsty for investment. And our relationship with these nations are expanding as well. As far as Indian Ocean Commission is concerned, now we are an observer of Indian Ocean Commission. Things associated with it, like few details are here, so please help yourself with it, right? Then we have Djibouti Code of Conduct. We are also observer of this Djibouti Code of Conduct. Let me show you where is Djibouti. So this is a country called Djibouti here, and I have one question for you. Can you give me the name of this strait here? This is a strait here, very famous, very important. Stick your answer in the comment section. So this Khaliji capitalism basically means the money that they have, right? We have to make sure that we utilize this money. There are 7 important things that we need to do. This visit of External Affairs Minister, we will hopefully see some sort of a discussion on sorting out our labor issue, in the sense, these nations as well, they are affected by this. Oil price have gone down because of lack of demand, so they are facing losses. So many of them, our people, right, blue collar workers, they are going to lose their jobs. So we have to mitigate this risk. We have to mitigate this pain as much as we can. So this is going to be number 1 topic. Then we have to look beyond oil. Renewable energy, higher education, technological innovation, smart cities, space commerce, so many other things. Then they have money, so we need to create our capacity, right? We have to, if someone is ready to invest $75 billion in our country, back in 2015 when Prime Minister Modi visited UAE, UAE government said that we are ready to invest $75 billion. We are committed to invest $75 billion in $1 billion, right? $75 billion in India. But our absorbing capacity is not that much. So it's not their fault, isn't it? It is our fault. or I would say not fault, but I would say it is our weakness. We need to convert it into our strength. The Gulf's financial power is increasingly translating into political influence and the ability to shape the broader political narrative in Middle East. Of course, when your money is flowing everywhere, when your money is used for investment and other things in other countries, then of course your influence will increase as well. So they are a very important player in Western Indian Ocean. Less noted in India, but equally significant, is the growing ability of the Gulf to influence regional conflicts from Afghanistan, Lebanon, and from Libya to Somalia. UAE currently chairs the Indian Ocean Rim Association, IORA, and Delhi pays insufficient attention to the significant reforms unfolding in the Gulf. Right? We used to believe, we have this stereotype that they are, very conservative and they are not modern. They just have money, but they are very brutal and things like that. But see, reforms are taking place over there. Right? Now, a few days ago, this was a big news that in UAE now, I think it is in Dubai, that they have decriminalized alcohol use, living relationship is allowed, a criminalization of honor crimes against women, and the institution of long-term visas, all these things. So these are all positive signs. These are all modern reforms that are taking place. It will take time over there. We have to understand that their society, their thinking, their history, culture, things are a bit different, but they are trying their level best, and their speed is also good. So there are so many things, there are so big opportunities waiting for India and Gulf nations. Together we can explore and exploit these opportunities. For that we have to work on our side. When I say our side, I mean to say India. We need to do everything that we can so that we can create synergy. Moving on to next topic, politics of stubble burning. Now, you know many things about stubble burning, so I'm not going to repeat things about stubble burning. Of course, it's going to be very boring for me and you both. But we know this thing that stubble burning is not the only reason, but stubble burning is one of the reason. And it's like a booster, all of a sudden when your winds are coming from northwest part of the world, and when already we have pollution because of various different reasons, but the stubble burning gives a boost, and all of a sudden you find hazardous air quality index is exceeding 400 and even reaching 1000 in some places for some days, when the acceptable norm is 120 as per CPCB. This pollution is overall general air pollution is one of the main reason behind millions of people facing health issues, and it is also killing lakhs of people, and it will in future kill millions of people. So it's not we cannot take it lightly anymore. But the thing is, why we find this stubble burning going on and on, right? Government, central government, state governments, they have spent crores of rupees in buying these machines to get rid of this paddy stubble, and to get to support farmer and to give money to them, and so many things, right? It's not that they are not doing anything, they're doing, but still farmers are indulging in this thing. So what are the root causes of this thing? Root cause is free electricity. Second is subsidized fertilizers. And third is ever increasing minimum support price. When you give free electricity, they will use water pumps and they will extract huge amount of water, underground water. So they don't value electricity, they don't value water. So they are using huge amount of water, and because now they have access to huge amount of water, they can go ahead and they can sow this, or they can harvest this, sow and harvest. Of course, they can produce this new crop, that is paddy, because Haryana, Punjab, this region or these states were not famous for paddy. They were famous for wheat. But because of this green revolution and free electricity and all this free stuff, now they know that they can have two crop cycles, wheat as well as paddy, to make extra money. But this thing is creating huge amount of damage. And it's not just air pollution, it is also destroying water. You're producing more electricity, so it is creating more coal consumption somewhere, right? You're using more chemicals, so you are already polluting your land as well. Methane emissions due to paddy also promote climate change. The percentage of paddy growing area increased fivefold from 6.5% in 1771 to 35% in 2009-10. And this expansion was at the cost of maize, oilseeds and pulses. In 2018, despite subsidies, Punjab has only 11% share in all India rice production. We have so many other states like Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal and Jharkhand and other parts as well. They can look after Kerala, Tamil Nadu. These states, they can look after rice production. So what we need crop diversification program. We need proper implementation of crop diversification program. It's going to be painful, but we need to get rid of this MSP that we are providing to Punjab and Haryana. We need to get rid of this free electricity and access to unlimited amount of water. This is not acceptable. What government can do is government can promote orchards, horticulture, promote pulses, oilseeds, maize, cotton, quinoa, guava, mango, pears, horticulture and agroforestry plantations. If government will give support to these items, right, and if government will take away, it will remove the support that is given to paddy, then naturally in few months or few years time, right, these farmers of Punjab and Haryana, they will start producing this sort of crops. So it is achievable, right? It is possible. Moving on to next item, this article is this one is from the Hindu newspaper, written by one of our former diplomat. And this article is talking about particularly RCEP and importance of Atmanirbhar Bharat. This is the overall theme of this article. Now, dear friends, we know RCEP. We have discussed RCEP, and if you follow daily financial news analysis, then I have explained RCEP in detail, A to Z of RCEP as far as your competitive exams are concerned, right? May it be UPSC or your state level examination. I have covered RCEP. I have information, knowledge, everything. I kept a fine balance. So go through that particular lecture if you have not watched that one. It will give you all details about RCEP. Now, see, the thing is, I'm going to be very brief here, okay? Time for an Asian century. So this article is saying that ASEAN nations, China, then of course India, these nations are getting stronger. There was a time when these nations were very rich and stronger. And we are seeing the same thing again. USA used to rule this world for a very long period of time. The Western world used to rule the world, but now it looks like the power is slipping away from their hands. Now, as far as this RCEP is concerned, it is generally said that it is backed by China, but this article is saying that it is backed by ASEAN nations, right? And the main aim of RCEP is to create a robust supply chain between these 15 nations, 10 countries of ASEAN. Then you have Japan, China, Australia, New Zealand and South Korea. So total these 15 countries will create a robust supply chain network that will support each other. As far as multilateralism is concerned, may it be UN, may it be WHO or WTO, and there are so many other platforms, India has always said that we need to reform it. It is already outdated. Right? So Western world, they have to understand that they have to share power with rising nations. And if you see US Congressional Research Service report, as far as these 4 key elements are concerned, global leadership, defense and promotion of liberal international order, defense and promotion of freedom, democracy and human rights, and prevention of emergence of regional hegemonies in Eurasia, the power of USA is decreasing this report is saying, this report, US Congressional Research Service report is saying this thing, that US now exercises power with others, not over them. And this ASEAN and China issue, this South China Sea issue is concerned, right? They will solve it. We cannot, be in this illusion that this will go on forever. They will solve this problem. Means it is good for the world as well. But, they will work on it. Who knows in future? Means on sidelines simultaneously they are also trying to solve this problem. And RCEP is a very strong bridge that will help China and these ASEAN nations to solve their issue. So this is the time for us to think about Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbhar, of course, it's not about protectionism, as I have always said. The government has always said this thing. Atmanirbhar is about standing on our own feet. No country has become a global power relying on others. We bought Rafale aircraft, right? It was our requirement at present, of course, but this is the time that we start working on creating our own fighter jets, creating our own tanks, creating our own good quality defense products. Our military theater will change. Means this, with China is going to be somewhere nearby USA in terms of military technology by 2027. That's what their target is. And we are still buying things from other countries. So we have to prepare ourselves for cyber, missile and special forces and other sort of material. And there are maybe infrastructure, electrical products, semiconductors, creating chip, electric batteries, solar panels and skill development. All these areas we need to work on. We are behind, to be honest, right? Be very frank, we are not number one, number two. We are very far behind. So we need to do something through which we can, become one of the best in the world. This will determine whether we are going to be powerful or not. Moving on to last item of the day. Very interesting topic. It's about AMR, that is antimicrobial resistance. So the advent of antibiotics, it was believed that this infectious disease will die forever from human and animal world. But of course, germs as well, they have this survival instinct. So they keep on upgrading themselves. This is like survival of fittest thing. So this is one reason, A. And B is irrational use of antibiotics in humans and animals. And this created this phenomena of antimicrobial resistance. Over the counter, buying medicines. If you are not well, then not visiting a doctor, just visiting a medical store and taking any medicine that they offer. So AMR is estimated to cause 10 million deaths. 1 crore people will die every year by 2050 because of this AMR. It is going to cost global GDP by 3.5%, and it's going to reduce our livestock by 7.5%. So there are two possible ways. One is to tackle this AMR. One is to create new antibodies. It will cost you $1 billion, and since 1984 we have not created any new antibodies. Because if you create something, after a few months or maybe a few years, something new will turn up, so your investment will go, it will be wasted. So the most logical thing is prudent use of available antibodies. That's the best thing that we can do. WHO has a dedicated global action plan on AMR 2015. It provides a roadmap, and 80 countries have developed their respective national action plan. India too, we have our national action plan, and this whole AMR is associated with One Health approach. One Health, you might have heard about One Health. So it's like taking humans, animals and agricultural. This animals, agriculture and humans, how we create our agriculture, how we do agriculture, not using too much of chemicals and this sort of antibodies. Everything will together, if we work. This is a multi-sectoral, multidisciplinary and multi-institutional action, which is called One Health. So if you are giving antibodies to your domestic animals, right, or your milk animals like cow or buffalo, etc., if you're consuming meat of goat and chicken and giving antibodies to them, then this will impact human beings as well. And we have seen this SARS, MERS, bird flu, COVID-19, right? zoonotic diseases are also on rise. So this makes one health very, very important. So as I told you, the only solution is prudent use of antibodies that we have at present. Creating new is not going to happen at present, or no one is going to invest that much money for creating new antibodies, which is not going to last for few, because people are going to be, if you don't change the pattern, then you have to create new antibodies every few years. So that is not going to help us. So that's everything in today's discussion, dear friends. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you soon with my daily financial news analysis. Make sure you download our mobile application. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'll see you soon. Enjoy your studies. Jai Hind.